Did you ever notice how every new habit that you are trying to incorporate into your routine is being rejected by your body? It's because you're too old, you should have done it when you were a kid. I'm just kidding. Basically, all of your habits shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 hours a day. So let's break it down. Why is it so hard to add a new habit, especially when you have an established routine? Hi and welcome back. My name is Valentina and today we're going to be talking about my favorite topic, habits. So let's get back to the roots of this word. In the 13th century, the word habit was first explained as an acquired mode of behavior. In 1890, William James, a pioneer, a philosopher, and a psychologist, discussed the subject of habit in his book, The Principles of Psychology. This is the actual definition he gave to this word. So a habit is a recurrent, often unconscious pattern of behavior that is acquired through frequent repetition. Even Aristotle was a big fan of this notion. We are what we repeatedly do. So basically, in his words, excellence then is not an act, but a habit. In order to get excellent at something, you need to make it a habit, which makes sense since practice makes perfect. I'm gonna go back to James Clear book, which is the book I go by. I'm gonna link it down below. Basically, to build a new habit, you need to stack it upon an existing habit. Furthermore, he's advising that to stack a new habit on top of the existing one in order for it to stick. It's like, for example, you have a habit of walking and you want to incorporate a habit of reading books. How would you do those two? Start with audiobooks. Besides the fact that you can carry a book with you, start with audiobooks. So when you walk, you can listen to an audiobook. So basically, you just stacked a habit on top of another one, which are both very good habits. And when you connect them, it's that much easier to associate for you. So every time you put on your shoes, you have to have your phone and your earphones with you. So when you walk, you can listen to your favorite book. You have patterns and behaviors that have been straightened over the years. So connecting your new habits to your new cycle that is already built into your brain is a bit challenging. It's like rewiring your brain. It's pretty hard to do it once you're already set in your ways and you are an adult. We're familiar with the fact that it's easier to learn a new skill from scratch as opposed to relearning. It's like, when you're driving a car in North America and then you go to England, it's that much harder for you to rewire your brain as opposed to those who were taught to drive the way they drive on the left side of the road. The same thing happens to you. Basically, when you are trying to put a new habit into place, it's rewiring of the brain. Luckily, our children are much easier when it comes to that because they are a clean canvas. You can install any kind of habits when it comes to them, starting with food, exercising, learning habits. It is very important to install the correct habits of behavior when it comes to our children because it becomes the blueprint of their life. Whatever your parents installed in you, I'm sure they are still somewhere there deep down. So basically, it's like food habits. So if you're gonna put chips within their reach, that's what they're gonna reach for. If you're gonna put apples within their reach, that's what they're gonna reach for. It's as easy as that, especially when it comes to exercising, the same thing. If they are such copycatters, if they're gonna see you exercising, they're gonna do the exact same thing. So all of these habits, it's gonna be that much easier to install into your children. Keep in mind though, the way they pick up good habits, the exact same way they can pick up bad habits. And it's gonna be that much harder to rectify that because they are stubborn, number one, because you cannot actually explain to them when they're small the side effects of a bad or a good habit. So when you start installing any kind of habits when it comes to your children, just make sure you do only the good habits if you can. When you're trying to install sleep habits, manner habits are so underrated. Me coming from an Eastern European family, we were taught to greet when we come into someone's house, to say our goodbyes when we leave someone's house. I find that children nowadays are forgetting the basic the basic manners of any kind of decent human being. And I am being here and there corrected by my parents because they were grow up and raised this way, that my children are kind of becoming more Canadian, as they say, and they don't necessarily always say hi and bye. And it always strikes me as, this is what I installed in them, and I installed in them to always greet, but with time I kind of let it go and they automatically forgot that habit. It's that easy for a child to forget a habit or to get into a bad habit as to not being polite. So make sure you're always correcting your children. I don't mean nagging and pointing, but if it's just the two of you and you saw a certain behavior, make sure you tell it. Don't just let it slide, because you're gonna let it slide 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and they're gonna forget the basic manners, the basic greeting and being polite, basically. This is why it is so important to pay attention to your child as he or she grows and observe their patterns and adjust them early on before they solidify and become part of their personality. It's like catching fish from the lake before it freezes over. You gotta make sure you catch all the bad fishes out. For example, you wanna teach your children to tidy up when they play. Always make sure that that particular habit is followed by a pleasant habit. So you can tell your toddlers, for example, okay, so let's tidy up and then we're gonna go and take a bath. So this way you are stocking one habit on top of the other. Again, we're going back to children. It's so much easier for them to actually follow that habit because, you are a person of authority and they are going to listen to you. So any kind of habits you install in them, it's going to be that much easier for you as a parent or for your partner or even for your parents, whoever is involved in their life. So make sure you are actually on the same page with everyone, with every adult in their life. So they are... no one takes sides, basically, and they know that, if mommy said, that means it's a rule. We have to follow it. Your goal is to make your habits and the habits of your children a lifestyle. It shouldn't be at the end of the day just a habit. It should be a lifestyle. Running, sleeping, meditating, exercising, everything that you're installing in your children. Everyone kind of looks at the way I eat, for example. I'm so used to eating very light food because this is how I taught myself. Exact same thing you can do with your children. If you teach them that this is the way to do certain things, this is what they're gonna go by, and they are not gonna steer any other way unless they have another stronger influence than you in their life. Make sure you're leaving cues all around the house for your children, especially for your toddlers. What I do is, for example, in the morning, when they wake up and I know that they need to follow a certain routine, I make sure that everything is at their disposal and available to them. I leave the door open to the bathroom. I turn the water slightly. I put a towel out. I put their clothes out. So any kind of triggers that you are gonna put out for them, it's gonna make that following of the habit, of the routine, that much easier for them. So it's fine if you mess up your house a little bit, it's okay. Just make sure that everything is out in the open. Once they grow older, of course, they'll have that already installed in them and they don't need that many cues and that many triggers. But as they are growing, make sure you put those cues and those triggers around them. I do it actually with my teenagers as well, because I'm not tired. I shouldn't say tired, but I don't want to be the only person repeating myself. So every time that, for example, I want my son to take the garbage out, I just take out a clean garbage bag and I put it on top of the table. So every time he passes by, that's a trigger for him, because he doesn't necessarily open the cupboard to see that if it's full or not. But if he sees a bag on top of the counter, he knows that it's time to take the garbage out. These little things, it's gonna install a particular way of behavior that they have in the house, and it's gonna make so much easier for you as a parent, especially if you're a single parent, to have certain things done around the house without you being a nagging person all the time in their life. Thank you very much for staying. Thank you very much for watching. I have a Skillshare class, which I finally pulled the plug and recorded on this particular topic. I'm gonna link it down below. For those of you who are interested, I am discussing how to incorporate children's habits with your habits in greater detail. And if you sign up, you can by all means watch my class. It's about 7 to 8 videos. I truly recommend it, and you can leave me a comment or a thumbs up if there's any kind of particular class you would want me to record. I will be more than happy to do it. Other than that, this is it for now, and I'll see you in my next video. Ciao!